Our SRO programs have worked really well over time. We got to keep tuning them up and getting, more people in there. But do you guys, do you have an appraisal on the Bryan Field price that?
Only what the county has given us, which is $228,537. It's, it's not an appraisal. It's what they're carrying it on their books at.
It's not been appraised yet.
It's not been appraised yet. I confess to not having driven by there often during schools in the last little bit. Do your kids use it during schools? It sits?
We don't.
It's not actually adjacent, it's downhill.
Yeah, and I knew it wasn't right there, but I just.
It's another one of those non-performing assets for us, right? So it's.
And it seems like that, I'm speaking only for myself, and I could get not supported here, but it seems to me like the number that's in your budget of $655, that was the appraisal that also helps stem the $3 million. What if we put Person Field and Bryan Field together for $655 and worried about the joint powers agreement later? What if we bought both of those for $655 because we have a slightly lower appraisal, what we think on Person, and add an inflated for what's on Bryan? I don't know how much can be done with that in short order, but just thinking out loud.
We would still need to get an appraisal
But
of Bryan.
But it could be done based on the premise that we could.
Theoretically, but we the public needs to know what the appraised value is, and the
Strike me, it could get you guys out of the parks business, get the $655 you originally talked about. Person is in the city's hands, Bryan's in the city's hands. I mean, in theory, and I'm looking to my other council members to see, but
Does that work, Hazel?
Well, you hate to give Bryan Playfield for free, but maybe there's wiggle room, maybe we can.
well, it's sort of, it gets back to that point of, we got to find a 328 place
Right,
between that at park level, and I'm just throwing ideas out to try to get
Somewhere
to.
in the middle, we talk somewhere in the middle.
It's
It's
a little further to your side than to ours, but it's a step in the right direction, and I think we should explore it.
What it does is, more than anything, it gives the community the property that belongs to them. So instead of adding, now they get 2 properties, and you get your 655.
I think it gets you out of the nebulous deciding what the value to the city of additional security is and what the value is of maintaining a park or putting in different things. You're now doing apples to apples rather than trying to figure out what are the relative values of some of these services we do together.
228, Mr. Wardell, is that?
Correct. I'd suggest this. I'd suggest we have it appraised, and we agree here tonight that that appraisal plus the 655 comes out to be the price.
Nah, that wasn't where I was going, Wendell.
I think they're looking for a little bit of a discount.
Nice try, but,
They might want to do a discount.
yeah. Well, you know what, actually, I don't even view it that way. I view it as, it's going to be worth $2 a foot on a parkland.
There you go.
We're giving $328 of value for Person, and then $328 of value for Bryan, and if it comes in appraised at $140, well, you got us. If it comes in at,
No, you said 650 plus 228.
I didn't. He did. That's what I'm saying.
He
But what
wasn't speaking for us with that one, Mike.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you hire the gun to hit the hammer, right? Troy does that for us. But, I mean, to me, I think I could walk out here very comfortably saying, at the end of the day, 2 parks are in the city where they belong. There's enough cash for the school board to have met the line item they needed. We'll deal with the joint powers agreement later, and that won't be an easy negotiation just because I think there's differences in how much things cost, but that can be
We'll
worked
work it
out. And then the SROs, again, is a whole different, separate line item in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be cleaner that way.
Do we know how big Bryan is? How many acres?
Bryan, how big is Bryan?
1.96.
So almost 2 acres.
I think we'd have to have it appraised first.
We would.
And then, maybe there is a discounted number there. I
Can
mean,
we rezone it before we appraise it?
I think it's already R1.
I think you're onto something, Mike and Mayor. I think that is, potentially a win-win-win, because we don't want to be in the parks business.
absolutely not.
We need some cash. You want to be in the parks business. That's part of your vision and mission. And if we can get past this I mean, this has gone on for way too long, and we got kids to educate, and you got citizens to serve, so I think that that might be a thing to pursue.